Hello friends, I'm Dr. Rajendra Thigle and you're watching my YouTube channel Edu Support. I welcome you all in my channel Edu Support. So dear friends, why particularly I have created this channel? It is just for to share certain information with you, with the students, with the student teachers and teacher community. So dear friends, we are going to definitely share some new ideas, new thoughts regarding education and all, particularly. So today's topic is why spoken English? Why speak English? Why should we speak in English? Why should we speak English language? This is what particularly which I wanted to focus today. So before starting why to speak English, we should talk about the why language. Why language is essential. See, my dear friends, whenever I'm saying that why there is necessity of language, that does not mean only the language which we speak, that is verbal communication. I'm expecting that we should also think about the body language particularly. So, as a human being, as a groomed person, particularly, we have to use the language efficiently and proficiently. So, particularly, there are certain points on this slide you can just go through. It is very essential in all walks of life. Yes, definitely. Whether you are a child, whether you are a toddler, whether you are a youngster, or whether you are a very grown old man, particularly, or woman, yes, definitely you are definitely you have to use this language now and again at various places and at various stages of your life particularly. So it is very essential, though you are housewife, though you are a woman, and might be so gender discrimination is not there as far as this language is concerned particularly. Okay, you have to just communicate properly with your words or your daughters and sons and your relatives and all. So when these women, they are going outside the house particularly for marketing and all, then definitely these women, they have to talk to the different persons, for example shopkeepers or shopmongers, etc. So language is very essential. What do you want to purchase exactly? You have to tell that particular person, salesman or sales representative, like that. Then yes, it is very essential in all walks of life. Definitely we are going to talk about that particular point in detail later on. Okay, for better understanding, for faster learning, for deeper learning, you have to know the language. You have to have a command over the language, proficiency or fluency on the language, definitely. Yes, you can call it as reading between the lines particularly. And yes, for better understanding, you should know the language, because this knowledge is particularly that is constructed in the literary things. So literary language, literary knowledge is there particularly, and we have to start from this alphabet and then words and sentences or phrases and all particularly, and what is the meaning or what is the deep meaning of those things. For better understanding purpose, definitely you must know the language, or there should be different kinds of skills of language you should acquire. Okay, for daily uses and daily applications of the language, might be it is any kind of language, maybe English or Hindi or Marathi or any language, any regional language you speak particularly. So for daily uses, how to use it particularly at various places, it's very essential. Yes, to achieve the goals and targets. Yes, definitely you might be having some goals or targets or some objectives, aims particularly with you, and if you want to achieve those targets and goals particularly within a limited period of time, you must have some command over the language. So this is the slide which tells you about the for higher education it needs for research. Yes, now and again you particularly require the language. So for researchers it is very essential. Now researchers should not think that if the statistics is the only part of research, then no, it is not like that. First thing is that it is particularly whatever data you are collecting, you have to present the data in particular language, and for that purpose, yes, English is very essential, because most of the time you will get the knowledge in English language, particularly journals, periodicals, magazines, or whatnot, particularly encyclopedia and all. Then definitely we are searching certain things on the internet, and definitely for researchers it is very essential. So to read the papers and all, and to just to analyze it into proper, your this thing, your construction, your synthesis, researchers are very very essential as far as this language is concerned. Particularly for academic presentations, yes, you have to now and then, you have to present yourself, present your material, present your content to the audience, and definitely through PowerPoint presentation and all. Particularly academic writing, you're presenting your papers, your articles. So language is very essential. It might be you're conducting certain kinds of seminars. Yes, so paper presentations, seminars, you need language. To lead in your career, might be your career, any damn career you are pursuing. Particularly you must be the leader of that particular career, and to lead the things, language is very essential. Your presence is very essential, where particularly you are presenting yourself through a very good and good language, good command over the language and all. So if you want to become a Vishwa Guru, yes, of you might be having any kind of discipline, any kind of knowledge, but if you are not presenting it in proper manner, then definitely that will not going to help you in the future. So if you want to be a Vishwa Guru, you have to use the language particularly. So for whom the language should be, or language to whom? So it is essential to everyone, as we spoke particularly before in the first slide. It's very essential in all walks of life. That's why it is very essential to anyone. Maybe it is a housewife or any kind of person. Yes, he or she requires always different kinds of set of languages, set of instructions, and set of content, which we can call it as. Always there must be different kinds of vocabulary, particularly you must be having, and a good kind of construction and soft spoken skills. Yes, if you are professional, yeah, you should have a professional kind of language, professional set of language, how to write an email to your bosses on all, particularly how to communicate properly with the subordinates and all. So the professional language is different. It's not whatever you are talking in daily conversation kind of thing. Particularly in email, you have to pay certain kinds of respect to who is there in front of you, and you have to put it in a very nice manner, in kind of logical order, and might be it is a point wise kind of thing. So professional language is having different kinds of setup. Okay, if you are employee, yes, what is the nature of employee? What should be the nature of employee? And then what is the culture of employee, or work culture is particularly we are talking about. And yes, so to the employees particularly, language is very essential. How to report your boss, or how to tackle to your subordinates and all, particularly employee needs the language. As the employee needs language, employees also need the language particularly, and they must talk very effectively with their subordinates, with their colleagues, and with their employee. Okay, they should pass a nice kind of commands, clear cut messages properly. They have to explain the things to their employee, their aims, objectives, targets, goals, outcomes, etc., etc., their practices, and their excellence and all. particularly they should talk to their employee. They should show it through their body language and all. Particularly there must be kind of conviction. Employer must have certain kinds of conviction, and definitely, and even they should tackle them in a very nice manner, very soft spoken kind of manner. Okay, if you're a manager, yes, you need it very well to particularly tell your subordinates or to your staff members what to do, how to do, when to do, and all. Communication skill is very important as far as this managerial kind of thing is concerned, particularly. Yes, so naturally, for housewife, for the students, though you are a student, you have to use the language now and then, particularly to understand your subjects. Yes, each and every subject is in the language only. For example, you are learning science or mathematics or any kind of history or geography, particularly. If you're not knowing the language properly, then you are not going to digest that particular subject in proper manner. Okay, if you're a businessman, you need language. Now it's a global kind of business you people are doing, so businessman needs the language properly. For air hostesses and for call center people, yes, definitely it is very essential to them, and yes, they are very well groomed, they are very well trained in that manner, and they can acquire those skills properly. So for even these kinds of fields which are there, you can watch on the slides, particularly for receptionists, for medical representatives, for sales representatives, yes, and for 5-star hotels, 7-star hotels, waiters, stewards, captains, and all. They need the language, English language particularly. So these people are using these languages properly in their fields, but I don't know why nowadays these medical representatives, when we observe it at the doctor's clinic particularly, whether they are even talking right now in very good English or not, I don't know. In our particular when I was young at that time, we used to see these medical representatives, and they were having a good proficiency or the language, and that was one of the criteria, particularly. If you're not good at spoken English, then you'll not be able to get that job, particularly in those days. But nowadays we can see the medical representatives like that, whether they are having command or not, I don't know what happened to that particular field. Okay, so for this all this, for example, these sales representatives just go to the different shopkeepers or shopmongers, particularly street hawkers. You can see in Mumbai particularly, I have seen that the sales representative means they are not sales representatives, they're salesmen. They are talking any kind of language, particularly they can observe a lady or a person, customer who is approaching them, or they're just passing through that particular road, and they'll observe you, and they'll find your language, what is your language, and they'll call you in that language, particularly they'll explain those products particularly in your language. And if they are not knowing your language, then definitely they'll not be able to get their bread and butter. So that was a very strong example which I have seen, particularly when I was going through that particular Lohar Chawl and all. Particularly these you can get utensils, brass kind of utensils particularly, and I saw that even they were talking, I don't know, that Kutchi language or something like that. So might be they are Marwadi people, but they were talking very fluently in your languages. If they know that you're Maharashtrian, they can talk. They'll talk to you in Marathi only. So everybody needs language. So legal team. Yes, last point is the legal team. Yes, if the legal advisors, if they are not good at English, or they are not disposing properly that language, then definitely nothing will happen to them and their clients, particularly. So my dear friends, this is all about why we should learn language, why should we speak English, why should we learn to speak English. Thank you so much for watching this particular video, and we'll see you in the next episode. certain kind of series which I wanted to, particularly create for you people. So please watch this video carefully, like it, subscribe it, share it, and hit the bell icon so that you can get the notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching this video.